god, this is barely holding on. Holding together.
Yeah, you can keep it folded up because it's just one side then the other.
Ah, okay. One cabin hubs recorded out. No idea what that means. I have not gone through this wholly. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm walking through this.
So the first one says Hobbs, and the Hobbs will be sometimes in different places on different planes, but this one is, it's not a Hobbs meter, it's made by Honeywell, so it's a little different. But go ahead and open up the dispatch book and we'll check that the Hobbs meter and the tachometer match what you see in there. So
this other side.
it's over here, yeah.
So it says, it should, so is it tech in or tech out?
So when you return it, you bring it back in, and when you check it out, you do the out. So the previous person, they brought it in at 7.4.
Okay, so that's the one. This should be is 7490.2.
Yep, that's good. All right, and then the tach. The tach
should be at 8373.5.
And depending on which plane you rent here, sometimes the tach is digital, so you have to turn it on. Sometimes it's mechanical.
Which one is the tech?
It's right here.
Ah.
Yep. So go ahead and we're going to turn on the master, which is that red rocker switch.
Both of them
right
at the
there.
same time, or?
And the right side is for the battery, which turns everything on, and the left side is for the alternator. So the left side is irrelevant at this point.
So right.
So you can turn the right on all by itself. Yep. Now this will tell you how many RPM you have when the engine's running. Or if you press the little button here, you can get what its accounting is, which will match this. So go ahead and try that. Push the button
This
there.
one?
Yeah. 01.28.
What?
83735.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I think I probably told you to push the wrong button. It's this one here. So, see, it's got an 8, 08, and then 373.5. So 8373.5. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is grab a pen. We'll write your name. I'll write your dad's name because it's going to be under his account.
Yeah. So, do I write his name or what?
Yeah. And today's date, it's the 14th, Pi Day. 3.14. Okay, so the tack in, the one we got, is going to go into your tack out now, right over here. Because we're checking the plane out with this hours on it.
73.5, and the Hobbs in be 7490.2.
Perfect. Alright, then the pen can go away. And since we turned on the master, the fuel gauges will show us something here. And they're not the most reliable gauges. They're very sensitive to the tilt of the plane and stuff like this. But what you're looking for is, do they show the amount of fuel that you think is in the plane? And we're going to get a dipstick and stick it in the tank and see how much is in there. So this is basically saying that the right is close to full and the left is
Plus minus
a bit. Yep. We can also see that the battery is putting out 12 volts. That's what it should be putting out.
It is.
Yep. And then the other electrical thing that you might notice is that this thing here is called a turn coordinator. See that little piece of glass right there? That little.
Yeah.
It would be red.
If what?
If the battery wasn't working.
Oh.
If it's getting no electricity.
Okay, can I test it real quick? Turn off the master.
Yeah, go ahead and turn it off and leave it off.
Ah, it does say. It says off and
then don't turn it on yet. But look at the fuel gauges. They'll start to bleed down. So when you turn it on, what I like to do is I have my eyes on the fuel gauge when I turn them on. Because then I see that they're responding. They're not just stuck at full.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be really bad.
Yeah, that would be very bad.
On?
Yeah, you can try it on while you're watching those. You'll see them pop right up.
Both on empty. Ah.
There you go. Yeah. So we don't need the battery for anything right now, but I do want to show you something about that red master switch. The left side turns on the alternator. The alternator's only working when the engine's turning, so try turning on the left. And nothing up here will happen.
Yes. Is there anything that doesn't work on something that I'm not looking at, or like?
No, you're all
Nothing
set.
at all.
So go ahead and turn them both off. Now, when you turn on the alternator, the battery has to be on. So try turning on the alternator without the battery, and look what happened. The switch is designed so that the battery comes on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so try turning off. Okay, let's wait a bit before you try something else. So this time, watch the red switch and turn on the alternator.
This I'm assuming?
The left side.
Alternator on?
Yeah, watch the red switch. So you see they're tied together when you do it this way. There you go. And then if you turn off the battery, just the battery, which is the right side, the alternator will come off automatically. So try that.
Oh.
So they're sort of tied together in a certain way.
So I'm just thinking. I'm thinking in my head how that could work. I'm thinking like one pin that, like up here, it turns down, and if you turn that on, it goes too high. When you turn that one off, it goes too low, and push the other one down.
Yeah, there's a mechanical pin back there that does something like that. Yep. Okay, so we've done our hobs. That's the first part of the cabin checklist. What's next?
Next is documents.
Documents. All right, so those are back here. And there's a little acronym. You might have learned the ARROW acronym.
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's ARROW. A is airworthiness, R is registration.
Yeah, I think I heard that somewhere.
Okay, yeah. So here is the airworthiness certificate. This is what comes with the plane when it's brand new. Here is the registration. We're just checking that it's valid. It's valid up to 2027. There's another R, which is radio license, which just doesn't apply. It only applies if you leave the country. O is the operating handbook, and that is right in here. You can take a quick look at that. That's what this is right there. And then the last thing is W, the weight and balance. The weight and balance form that you would fill out is in here. And it's not that you need a weight and balance form that was, made by the mechanic years or months ago. You need to know that you are operating the plane within inside of its limitations. And I can tell you that we are. With your weight and my weight, we are operating inside of there. Someday you'll be doing the weight and balance yourself, but we don't need to do it today. I can tell you it'll work.
How much is the weight and balance limit on this plane? About?
Oh, it's all right on here, the actual numbers that you want to see. So these...
empty weight is like... that's a plane.
Yeah, 1129. So if you subtract that from 1600, you'll get 471.
471.
So that's what's called the useful load. So that
is with or without the fuel?
This 471, if we put in 200 pounds of fuel, for example, we would only have 271 pounds of people.
Okay, so that is assuming that is with no fuel, they can put in 471 and it'll fly.
That's right. Yep. So that's basically an empty number.
Okay, so is that it on this document part?
Yeah, it is. So let's take that ratty piece of paper. We'll get a new one soon. This can go back here. You're all set with that. And keep going down the list.
Magneto switches off, and I'm assuming that's that.
Yeah, so the magnetos are how the engine runs. I forgot to grab the key. Let's do that. And propellers on these type of planes, you got to treat them as if they're dangerous, and you got to treat it as if the engine is trying to start at all times.
Yeah, so I'm assuming I've been told this at some point, like in the Learn to Fly, I think, in ground school. So if you accidentally bump it, it could possibly start.
Yeah. So it's not like a car where you need to turn the key or anything like that. The magnetos, they provide the spark for the spark plugs, and the way they work is when the engine's turning, either by you moving it by hand or because you're out flying or whatever, when the engine's turning, the magnetos will make a spark.
Well, that says something.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to, you ever had to start a lawnmower where you wrap the cord around it and pull it?
Somehow no, we've somehow always had an electric one, but okay. I have recently been screwing around with the electric, gasoline weed whacker.
gotta pull it.
Yeah, it's pain to play around with.
It's got magnetos.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need electricity for those things. This engine needs no electricity to run. So as long as the prop is turning, the engine's happy. So because of that, first, the magnetos should be disabled when this is in the off position right there. They should be. But all it takes is one broken wire and they become hot. They become active and ready to go. So this makes them ready to go. So we always make sure that we switch it to off, and then as just a safety reminder, stick the keys up there so you can see them when you're walking around. Because if you ever get near the prop, you want to treat it like it could just in an instant start up.
You really want to treat it like it's on. You don't want to be in the radius of where we will be.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes you might have to touch the prop and move it, and we'll talk about that when we get out there.
And that is, I'm assuming, it for the magnetos? Next is the avionics master.
Yeah. So all of this stuff here gets controlled with the avionics master.
I'm assuming it's the one that says master.
Well, this is for the airplane master. And see this one here?
Yeah. That checks out.
Yeah, so if I were to turn that on, it's not going to do anything because the master's off. This controls everything. This controls just the avionics right
Next up is the master switch. It should be on.
here. It says on here?
It says on.
Yep. All right, let's turn it on.
Okay, just moving. Let's go. Next is the fuel quantity.
Yeah, we see the fuel there. And we're going to remember that one seems just under full and this one seems full.
Yes. And next one, lights checked.
Alright.
Turn them on.
So we're going to turn on the pitot heat, navigation lights, beacon, and all the other lights.
You can't see anything from inside the plane.
And then we're going to go kind of real quick, check them out.
Right now?
Yep, so the first thing I want you to do is pull off that pitot tube cover. Hold on to the, if it's really hard to pull off, hold on to the pitot tube when you're doing it.
The rough part? I think the actual tube. Got it.
Yeah, if it's really hard.
Where do I put the cover?
There's a tote in the back there. Stick it inside there.
Hey, what?
See that plastic bin?
Yeah.
So if the plane gets ice on it, gradually this gets ice on it, it'll go airspeed. the green and the white on the tail of the nav lights. So let's shut off our nav lights. And now these lights, the taxi and landing lights, the stuff out on the wings, the ones, the headlights pointing forward, we'll shut those off. Those can go off.
I was looking at if the one was still flashing, so that's on a different switch.
The beacon.
Yeah. BCN.
Beacon, yeah. So go ahead and shut off the taxi and landing lights.
Both?
Yep. And we leave the beacon on because the beacon is the one that says, hey, this airplane's about to come alive. So
pretty important.
Yeah, we'll just leave that one on. And then we'll keep moving down the checklist.
Next up is, let's check flaps extended.
So the flap handle's right here. So you're just going to push that down. Make sure nobody's standing underneath the flaps, which are right here. Like if your dad was there, we'd just hit him in the head.
Right now?
Yep. And so this is a 3-position thing. That, the flaps go up. Here, the flaps stay where they are. Here, the flaps go down.
All the way down, or?
So push them all the way down. They'll come down to about here. That's it. Then we let go. And we move on to the next thing.
Okay, next is master switch off.
Yep, that's it. Alright. Now, first time we do a pre-flight, it can take a long time. So I'd kind of like to split this up a little bit where
you do one half of the airplane, do the other?
Well, not exactly. What I want to do is some of this stuff I want to spend like the normal amount of time on. Some I'll do it and I'll go quicker.
Yes.
I'm not going to explain everything I'm doing and talk through everything, so that we don't spend the entire 2 hours doing a pre-flight.
Yeah, that'll be something.
Yeah, because it's kind of boring. All right, so
control surfaces.
We're going to walk to the back, and I'm going to have you read, and I'll do some checking.
Got it. Don't have a back pocket. But
Okay,
I
good.
have my phone in my front pocket.
Because these seats are not very comfortable in the back pocket. Alright. So, we try not to put anything up here because
Blocks vision?
there's metal on here and it'll scratch this. This is not metal, it's okay. This is small, it's not going to hurt anything. But we got our checklist, we got our keys, that's what we need. So, plug in. And in all the different planes here, you got to figure out where's that darn plug. So these ones are obvious. They're right in front of you. You probably know this, but you can't get it backwards. It's impossible.
One smaller than the other?
Yeah. So we don't have to worry about that. We try not to leave anything down here. Just kind of kicking around. It'll get in the way. I don't want anything jamming up the rudder pedals. Yeah. I'm going to get my seat belts ready to go here. Yeah, so you are all set. Go ahead and jump in.
Was it like left or right? Was there a way?
Cool.
Yeah, I see what you mean by the back pocket comment.
Yeah. And then we'll get our seatbelts before our headset.
Yes. Probably just pinch the wires, I'm guessing?
Yeah, the seatbelt grabs onto the wire and it's annoying because it doesn't move freely.
That's not twisted, is it? Should be that way. Oh, that's good.
What? Flip it over. One more. Yeah, you got it. Let me come over there and look. It looks twisted, but maybe not.
Yeah, oh, never mind.
Got it?
Yeah, the back was twisted like 90 degrees, so it seemed like it.
Cool.
Now this is twisted.
All right. And then don't tighten it up yet because you're gonna want to adjust your seat. So I want to. So the seat adjustments are right there, and you're gonna want to be a little closer than that.
What do I grab onto? What can't I grab onto?
That's good, right there.
Can I move forward to see like the?
Yeah, move it as much as you want.
Yeah,
you want to be able to fully extend the pedals one way or the other. and then you want to be comfortable on the controls. And sometimes your legs and arms are kind of different sizes, so you gotta just figure out what works for you.
Yeah, I think this will be fine.
Okay, looks pretty good. So the chocks are still in. I'm gonna pull the chocks, but before we do that, since we're on a hill, I want you to put the brakes on, which is just rotate them, push them up there.
They're on?
They're on. Okay, I'm gonna jump in.
Can I check my seatbelt or something at the time?
Yeah, tighten it so it feels comfortable to you. And get our shoulder harnesses on.
That part goes there.
Got it, that's right. And for this whole setup to work correctly, this part has to be reasonably tight.
Is that reasonable?
Feel mine, just reach over and see how tight I've made mine.
Mine's a little tighter than that.
Because let's say we hit something and we stop real quick.
You used to have a little bit of play to not need G-forces.
Yeah, we will slide under the seatbelt if it's not tight, so it has to be low and tight across our hips. So you've probably heard that in an airliner.
Probably.
Low and tight across your hips, that's what I always say. That's what it's all about, is to prevent you, it's called submarining, when you slide under the seatbelt. We don't want that. Okay. Grab the key, put it in the ignition, but don't turn it.
Got it. Ignition, I cannot. There it is.
The other way. Flip it around 180. That's it. Good. Now, I want you to turn it one click to the right.
On the R?
Uh-huh.
Right magneto.
2 clicks to the right. So now it's running on just the right-hand magneto. One more click. That's the left magneto. Okay. One more click. That's both. And that's where it's going to stay, is both.
Yes.
When it comes time to start the plane, you're going to turn it all the way to the right where it says start. The master's off, so nothing's going to happen. But I want you to try starting it.
Yeah, that's like spring instead of like a click.
Yeah, it's spring-loaded. Yep. Good. All the way to off. So when we start it, it's going to be ring, 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 ring until the prop kind of runs on its own, and then you just let go.
Yes.
Just let go and everything's fine. A little bit of sun visor if you need it.
Yeah, might as well.
Yep. Okay. Let's grab the checklist right here, and we will start the plane.
Before start, there's passenger safety brief.
So checklist you saw with, we're doing the walk
Yes.
around, the external pre-flight thing here. They're part of everything we do in flying. And the way to do this is to say before start checklist, and then go through it, and then say before start checklist complete. Engine start checklist. Engine start checklist complete. So we're going to do that for all these checklists. So we have before start, engine start, after start, taxi, yada 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 yada.
Before start, passenger safety brief. Is that not going to be needed?
Okay, so I'm going to give you the brief. I don't expect you to do this now, but the brief follows an acronym. There's a ton of acronyms in aviation, and I'm going to use the acronym SAFETY. Seatbelts. You know how to operate your seatbelts. Keep them low and tight across your hip. Keep them on at all times. If you need to get out, you just lift this. Comes right out. A. Air vents. We can get air coming in here. I can pull a little knob here and get some air coming in. We can also open the windows if we're flying. A lot of air will come in. If you're ever uncomfortable, just say something and we'll fix it.
Yes.
Yep. Fire extinguisher, that's F. So I've done S-A-F, and then I go E-T-Y. Fire extinguisher, we don't have one on board here. The nearest one is on that yellow pole over there. So fire starts, we'll shut it off, we'll get out, we'll exit this way, stay clear of the rotating prop if it's still rotating, and we'll get a fire extinguisher. Egress, E, exit. So close the doors just by giving them a slam. Go ahead. Open them. Just pull that out. Simple as that. If the door is somehow jammed, we just get out the window. If these windows are jammed, we go out the back and we kick out that window. Might take both of us kicking, but we'll get out that way. No problem. S-A-F-E-T, talking. When we're taxi, takeoff, and landing, the talking that we do should only be focused on the stuff necessary for the flight. We won't talk about, oh, there's a nice yellow airplane or something like that. It's only during taxi, takeoff, and landing. Those are called the critical phases of the flight. We only talk about safety stuff related to staying safe and flying the plane. Otherwise, if you see a plane, point it out. If I see a plane, point it out. If I see a plane over there, I'll say airplane 9 o'clock. Because we have a clock in our heads. It's 12, 1, 2, 3, etc.
Yes.
And then Y, S-A-F-E-T-Y, your questions. Do you have any questions about any of that?
No, not really.
All right.
Great. Next, seatbelts on. They are on. Fuel selector valve. That's
right here. You can turn that up and it shuts off the fuel, or turn it down, it turns on the fuel. So put it in the on position.
so hard to push that thought it would be.
Yes, they're stiff.
Okay. Radios and electrical equipment need to be off.
Mm-hmm. So the master's off, the avionics master's off, all of our switches are off except the beacon, we want that on.
Yes. Next is our circuit breakers need to be checked.
That's all these guys here, and sometimes circuit breakers show up all over the panel in older airplanes, so we'll keep looking around for other ones. If it popped out, it would look like that. They are checked.
Great. Before start, checklist checked.
Perfect.
And just start. Rotating beacon is on.
That's our switch there.
Mixture is rich, is out.
Push it in as rich, pull it out as lean, and that kills the engine. So all
Mixture is rich. Throttle is 1/8 open.
Yep. So this tightens or loosens the movement of this. So we'll just loosen it up a little bit. Go ahead and feel that. Loosen it up a little bit. Good. That is idled all the way out. To start, we push it in that far. It's tiny amount.
Okay, and carb heat needs to be off.
That's that direction.
Great. Brake set. They're set. Master switch on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Primer as needed.
Okay. I don't think we're going to need the primer. We're going to try it without it. Okay. So let's close our door. We'll start the motor.
Prop area clear.
Yep. So you're going to open your window like this, and you're going to yell, "Clear prop."
Clear prop. Ignition switch start.
Mm-hmm. So this is a two-handed thing. Right hand's going to be on the throttle, because if the engine races and goes real fast, you're going to pull the throttle out.
Yes.
Left hand's on the switch, and you're going to crank it until it starts on its own, or I tell you to stop.
Yes.
If it starts on its own, you just take your hand off and you're done.
Now?
Yep, let's give it a shot. Perfect.
Great.
All right, now we look up and we check our oil pressure.
Oil pressure is still at 0. That's normal. Just started. Oh, that's not 0. That's a 50.
There you go. Yep. All right.
Great. Throttle is at 850 RPM. That is correct.
Yep. So you're going to advance the throttle just a tiny bit to get close to 800. me?
Yes.
I got you.
Taxi checklist. Doors, locked.
Locked.
Area clear.
Clear left, center, and right. Nobody out there.
That's right. Taxi light is on. No, I'm looking at the wrong checklist. Ignore that part. Yoke is after taxi.
Yeah, so when we taxi, you're going to use your left hand on the yoke. You're just going to reach up and pull it back and sort of hold it here.
Okay. Great. Brakes check.
Yep. So let your feet off the brakes. Then we'll start to move. And as we start to move, gently put on the brakes till the plane stops. Push a little harder on your brakes. There you go. My turn. I'll check my brakes. And we steer on the ground with our feet. Brakes checked on the right. Okay, you have the controls again.
Taxi checklist complete. Before, do we go or?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is go out this way.
Midfield, left.
We're going to go behind them.
02.
We're going to turn right.
So
And
right
then
now,
we're going to go to that far end down there. And your right hand doesn't touch the yoke.
yes.
Because you reserve that for this stuff here. Alright, now don't use the brakes, just the rudder, like I'm doing, and see how you steer with your feet
Yes.
is rudder only. Until you need brakes. And right now we don't. So we're trying to follow this orange line, give or take. You don't have to be perfect.
Be about on the line, yeah.
Yep, start a turn to the left with your left foot. All the way in. And we'll come to a stop here for that yellow Cub.
Twin Oaks traffic. Clear the runway, Twin Oaks.
Cub, where you heading?
Turn to the side. RTCs, Twin Oaks.
Twin Oaks traffic, that's the 65 Kilo Delta is left base from runway 02, Twin Oaks.
Okay. We'll go straight. They're getting out of the way. If you want to go a little faster, just give it a little more gas.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that'll get you going because we're going downhill. You know, and if you give it too much, it's not a big deal. Like, let's say you accidentally do this. So just pull it out, and if you need brakes to slow down, use brakes.
Did I do that?
No, this is a good speed right here. So you're only using the feet without brakes.
Yes.
And then if you start to think, oh, I'm going too fast, the first thing you do is you pull the power to idle.
Did I do that?
Give it a try.
Okay.
And remember, you're not steering with this, you're just holding it all the way back.
Yes.
Not like driving a car at all.
Yeah, because I've recently been trying to do that. It's a lot listening for me. I try to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's a tough one to get rid of. And hear how the engine's kind of lopey? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's because the RPM's fairly low.
Do I put it up to the RPMs again?
Yeah, and we can bump up that RPM a little bit.
About 100.
Looks good.
Okay, so tell me what to do.
Okay, so we're just trying to stay on the line here. See how the orange line goes off to the left?
Yes?
We're going to kind of work our way to the left and get on that other one.
Right.
But not so quickly that you go in the gravel. Now here's where it gets a little more challenging because you need speed and you got to use brakes. So get your feet up on the brakes so you can use them. And we're going to put on the right brake only.
That's something.
Now we straighten them up and put on both brakes real gentle until we stop. That's it.
Okay, I need to adjust my seat because I can just barely get out and get
Twin Oaks traffic, that's the 65
Okay,
Kilo
I have the
Delta is
brakes.
clear of runway 02, taxiing to 02, Twin Oaks.
further. Let's see.
Whatever traffic, Cessna 45720, 3 miles to the southeast, going to fly over midfield and enter teardrop for 45 and downwind for runway 02.
Okay, that's done.
Okay, you back?
Yep.
All right, you got the controls now.
Great, so tell me what to do.
Okay, so now anytime I'm the one flying, I'll be saying I have the controls.
Yes.
If you're the one flying, I'll say you have the controls. And we do this thing called a three-way exchange of controls. So let's say I'm flying along, and it's time for you to take controls. I'll say you have the controls. You'll reach up, you'll grab onto the stuff, and you'll say I have the controls.
Yes.
And I will look to make sure you do, and I will say you have the controls.
Okay, thank you for telling me that.
So let's practice that. I'm flying, blah, 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 blah. All right, Pavel, you have the controls.
I have the controls.
You gotta reach up and grab them. Otherwise, you don't really have them. And only your right hand is here. You don't put your right hand on there. So go ahead and grab it. You have the controls. So that's the three-way. Now you want to give the controls to me. Let's do the opposite.
You have the controls.
I have the controls. Now you look and make sure that I do, and then you say it out loud.
You have the controls.
That's it. Perfect. Okay. That's how we'll do it.
Great. Before
Go ahead, Kitty.
Before takeoff checklist, nose wheel is straight. Both rudder pedals straight.
Yep.
Flight controls are free and correct.
So here, we're going to check the motion on all of these things. Trying to get rid of that static. Figure out where it's coming from. Okay. Free and correct means look behind you. Free means it's not binding. Correct means it's doing the right thing.
That's correct.
Looking at that wingtip. And then we do the same with the rudder.
Yes, free and correct.
Good, free and correct.
Next up is flight control. Fuel selector valve is on. Fuel selector valve is on.
Yeah, you notice how we've checked that one twice now.
Yes.
It's important.
Trim needs to be set for takeoff.
Yep, that's this here. You're just getting those lines matched up. Go ahead and get the two lines. Perfect.
Great. Make sure it needs to be rich.
All the way in. Good.
Throttle needs to be at 1700 RPM.
Yep. So with the brakes held, make sure your feet are up on the brakes. Pushing forward like that. Good. You're going to push in the throttle kind of slowly to get us to close to 1700.
Traffic, RB2 got Victor drop 7 miles south inbound 0220.
Good.
Down or?
Closer to 1700. Okay, that'll work.
Okay. Mag check. 125 RPM, max 50. Okay, turn off
so
one.
We're going to tighten this up so it doesn't move on us. So it stays right there.
One of them off.
One click to the left and watch the RPM go down. You've shut off half the spark plugs. Now one click to the right to come back to both. They come back on.
30 difference.
2 clicks left. Click, click. Good. 2 clicks right. Good. It's working. We're
Perfect.
checking the RPM each time.
Carb heat check drop.
Yep. So that measures exhaust gas temperature, EGT. This measures carburetor temperature, and this measures cylinder head temperature. So we want this in the middle to measure the carburetor. So we pull out this. So the temperature should go up and the RPMs go down. Let's give that a try.
In the middle or?
Yep, so it is in the middle now.
Okay. What do I do?
The switch there should be in the middle position where it says carb. It's a 3-way switch.
Yes.
Cool. And we pull out the carb heat.
All the way?
Yep, all the way. This will go up real quickly. RPMs go down.
In?
And then we put it back and the opposite should happen. This goes down. This goes up, I'm sorry, the temperature goes down. You'll learn more about the details of why that is in ground school.
Yes. Next up is engine instruments.
That's oil pressure and oil temperature.
Yes.
That's it.
Twin Oaks traffic, Cessna 65 Kilo
the
Delta is taking off, runway
meter.
02 left coast traffic,
Yep.
Twin Oaks.
The ammeter is measuring the voltage of our alternator and the amperage output of the alternator.
Twin Oaks traffic, RV2SM Victor Alpha is 4 miles south.
Next up is
We're going to
the suction
overfly
gauge.
1,700, teardrop 02, Twin Oaks.
Say the last thing again.
Next up is suction gauge check,
That's this one right here.
and that is in the green operating zone.
Yep.
7 throttle check, idle check, then 800, then to 1,000 RPM.
Yep, so loosen this. Give it like a half turn. There we go. And slowly bring the throttle out all the way to idle. Good.
Idle check, then 800.
Yep. It runs at idle, that's great. Now we put it back to about 800. 800 to 1,000, somewhere in that range. That's good.
Then 8,000 RPM.
No. 800 to 1,000.
So,
That's where you are right here.
so that's check.
It's good.
Flight instruments set.
Yeah, so we got 6 of them to pay attention to. Airspeed indicator is 0. It should be 0, we're not moving. Attitude indicator kind of shows the world. It's blue over brown or blue over black.
Crosswind runway 0.
That's the way it should look. It shouldn't be tilted or pitched up or anything like that. Altimeter here should read about 150 feet, so we'll adjust this until it does. There's about 150. Vertical speed indicator tells us how fast we're going up and down. It shows 0. That's what it should be. The heading indicator should match our compass.
65 Kilo Delta
Shows about
left down
280.
runway 02, Twin Oaks.
So you push it in to turn it, so it matches.
Good.
And then our turn coordinator doesn't show the little miniature airplane banking left or right. That's the way it should be.
So everything's set. Next up is radio set.
Yeah, so continue here on the radio.
45720, about 3 miles.
One more.
3.5 miles to the west, going to enter on a
Good.
45.
And we'll watch traffic.
That's set. Lights need to be on.
16058,
Yep.
5 miles to
So
the
we will
west,
turn on our
700, entering the left Saturn. for
all of our
runway
lights
20.
for the takeoff.
Perfect. Time noted.
Yeah, so I'll pay attention to the time here. We're taking off at quarter after.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Perfect. All right, so stick this under your leg here in case we need it. Right there. Just ready for you. And we're going to look outside, make sure nobody's landing.
Yes, no landing, only
And
one takeoff.
I have the controls. So, I'm going to move up here just so we can see better. I'm going to kind of turn this around and point into the sun. Because I want to see if somebody's landing on the runway. Did you see anybody out there?
I did not.
Left base runway 02, Twin Oaks.
Cool, so
Okay,
somebody's
now I do.
734 Kilo uniform, taxiing from parking.
And there are ways toward landing.
Traffic, RV2.
So we'll pay attention to them.
Over top of the field, 1,700, teardrop.
For our takeoff here, we're going to get on the runway.
720.
We're not going to use brakes.
Are you coming in?
We're going to use rudder to steer.
Affirmative, 0.
Yes.
We're about 4 miles south.
So
we're out of
when it's time to go take off, look at my feet here. I'm going to have my feet down here like this.
Yes.
So I can't really do brakes. To do brakes, you need your feet up high. But there's going to be like a low position and a high position. So I'll talk about your feet down so your heels are on the ground in the low position. We'll give it full power, and we stay on that white center line with our feet. If we want to move to the right, we do that. Left, this. This does nothing. You're going to want to do this,
Yes.
because that's how you steer a car, but we're not going to do that. To the right, to the left. We're going to give it that full power, and I'm going to do a quick check of the instruments, which you will eventually do, but you don't have to do it this time.
Yes.
If we're not off the ground by halfway down the runway, we're going to abort the takeoff.
Downwind 02 behind.
We'll just pull the power to idle, and we'll gently start putting brakes on.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're going to give it full power. We're just going to pull back on the yoke a little bit, just a little bit. The plane's nose will barely come up in the air, and it'll fly when it's ready to fly. I don't want you looking at the airspeed indicator or anything like that. We're going to keep our eyes outside the whole time. Okay? We got that guy landing. We got that guy coming around. We'll get off in between them.
Got it.
Pavel traffic, says 45720, turning left base, runway 02.
And there's just going behind us.
Alright, they'll get off the runway and then we'll go.
Twin Oaks, 959er, Hotel Charlie, 8 miles from southwest. Inbound runway 20.
Twin Oaks 19333, taking off runway 20. Correction, runway 2, Twin Oaks. Okay, put your hands on the controls. Only one. Alright, put your hand here.
Twin Oaks traffic, that's a 65 kilo Delta.
Feet on the controls with me.
02, taxiing to 0.
Give it full throttle. Push it all the way in.
That's 45720 on final, 02.
Good. Now we lift the nose up just a little tiny bit like this and stay on the center. Right foot, more right foot, push more into, there you go. More right foot. That's it.
Traffic 7 Victor Alpha's left base 0.
Now we are in the air, so just using the yoke like this, hold that pitch like this. Looking good. A little more right foot, please. And then as the wings move, try to fix it with your ailerons. A little more right foot. Push a little harder there. That's it. Keep your hand on the throttle. That's it. Okay, now we're going to do a 90-degree turn to the left. We're going to change our heading and point that way. So I want you to just start a little turn.
Victor Alpha's final 02, number 2, Twin Oaks.
Looking good.
Twin Oaks traffic, Cessna 058, left base 2, Twin Oaks.
Twin Oaks 19333, left crosswind, runway 2, will be departing south on the downwind. Twin Oaks. Alright, we'll come wings level here, so rotate back this way.
Cessna 058, turning final, runway 2, Twin Oaks.
Now we're going to turn again, 90 degrees to the left.
45720, clear runway 02.
Looking good. Then as we keep turning, eventually you'll be able to see the runway on the left. We want to fly parallel to the runway.
We are almost parallel.
Excellent.
Level?
Yes. Twin Oaks 19333, left downwind, runway 2, southbound departure.
No traffic, everything on 7 Victor Alpha, clear 02, taxi 02, drive.
Alright, so our altitude right now, that little hand tells us in the thousands, so it's 1,000, and the big hand is 100, so it's 1,400.
Yes.
We're going to climb, why don't we go up to 2,500. We'll just keep going this direction, you're doing great, just holding it level, keep climbing. See the airplane over there right above the horizon?
Yes.
So they're at the same altitude as us, and I know that because they're right at the horizon.
Yes, and above the horizon is over us and below under us.
Yep. And
When I
then,
turned that yesterday from sporties.
yeah, exactly. And then, you know, this guy tells us the same thing. You know, it's minus 0.1, so he's 100 below us.
Twin Oaks traffic, Cessna 058, clear of all runways, Twin Oaks.
So what's our current altitude?
Our altitude is about 1,900.
Perfect. Good answer. Well, as we're climbing, you see how it's sort of hard to see in front of you?
Very hard.
And if there was another airplane right there, you wouldn't see it.
No, it would not.
So you got two options. One option is just push on the yoke a little bit, the nose comes down. Try that. One hand, there you go. And then you can see, but we also stop our climb. And we're trying to climb. So now let's bring the nose back up so we get our climb going. We're pulling on the yoke to do that, good.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Now this time, bank to the left. And look in front of you, see how you can see a little bit better? And the same thing, bank to the right. So, you know, they're both acceptable options. They got some trade-offs. I like the banking one because I don't stop my climb. But they both work.
Okay, we are at for 2500, right?
Yeah, good.
We are at 2,450.
All right, so we'll slowly lower the nose until it feels about level, and we'll pull the power back just a little bit.
Charlie is on a 1 mile 45 for
a little more.
left down 102 tons.
Pull it so it quiets down just a bit. Nope, keep coming. Keep pulling out that throttle. More.
Traffic says the 65 kilo delta is left, crossing
Keep going.
runway 02 Twin Oaks.
There we go, now it's about 2,500. So you can set the friction lock by tightening it up. It'll stay there.
959 Hotel Charlie.
Let's get our nose back down.
To 65 KD on
a little more down.
Traffic in sight.
A little more down. Level will look like this. This is what level
traffic says the 65 kilo
looks like.
delta is left
So
down.
now we're at 2,600, and we're kind of staying there. Our vertical speed shows a little bit down.
Closed traffic. We'll plan to come in behind.
So we might pitch up just a tiny bit. That's too much. You see how we start to climb pretty fast there. So what we're doing right now is just what they call the first fundamental maneuver, which is straight and level. We're kind of heading right toward the sun. That's fine. And let me take the controls for a second. I have the controls.
You have the controls.
I have controls. All right. So I'm going to get us by looking only in front to fly level. And flying level means constantly, see how much I'm moving the yoke sort of constantly? I'm overdoing it. You don't need to do this much. Because you can feel it. See how you can feel like people will get sick if you do that. But you do move it like this much. A lot. You move it a lot, but just these little bits. Because if you let go, then the plane does whatever it wants. And you don't want to let it just be the boss. You got to tell it what you want to do. And then, if it's constantly trying to climb, or it's constantly descending, trim. All right, so you have the controls?
I have the controls.
Your controls. This hand doesn't go there. There you go. You don't need to hold on to this anymore, but just don't use your right hand for this.
Hotel Charlie, left downwind.
So are we climbing or descending?
We are climbing just a little bit.
Good. So let's make a small correction and try to stay level. And if it keeps wanting to climb, it's because trim isn't set right. So we want to trim nose down by taking this and rotating it this way.
Up, or?
You rotate it that way to trim nose down.
Got it.
Downwind 02, number 3. Twin Oaks traffic sets the 65 kilo delta is final for her 02 Twin Oaks.
If you look over there, see the big body of water, it's about 230
yes.
on your clock there. That's called Hag Lake. We're going to turn toward Hag Lake. So before you make a turn, we look in the direction of the turn, make sure nobody's there.
Yes.
And then turn. So we look right, and we clear right by lifting the wing up slightly to make sure nobody's under the wing. And then we turn until that shows up in front of us. So look right, clear right, turn right. Clear right.
Turn right.
Yep. So now keep your eyes in front, because the birds or the balloons or whatever that you might hit is going to be in front of you. And you keep turning until Hag Lake shows up in front of you. I should be right in front. It's okay to glance around, but most of your time, right in front. There you see Hag Lake.
Yes.
All right. So you see this tube?
Yes, I do.
That's your gun sight. So if you close one eye, you get your other eye right behind it.
Okay.
Wherever that gun sight is pointing, that's where the plane's going to go. So you'll be looking right here. You won't be looking here. You're looking right here to see where the plane's going.
Okay.
All right, so are we pointed at Hag Lake?
We are not pointing at Hag Lake.
All right, so now we're going to work on the straight part of straight and level, which is keeping us pointed exactly where we want to go.
2 Oaks.
And it's just constantly making small adjustments.
Traffic 959 Hotel Charlie, short final, runway 2, Twin Oaks. Twin Oaks traffic, Cessna 65 Kilo Delta is clear of 02, taxi to 02, Twin Oaks.
Looking good. Now on our way there, we're going to descend down to 2,300.
So start now?
Yeah. And there's a couple ways to descend. One of them is just push forward on the yoke and you go down. But you'll also speed up.
Roll down?
So let's try that. We're going to descend without touching the throttle. Just push a little bit. If it's fighting you, give it some nose down trim, like by pulling that. You see how we've sped up a little bit? We were about 105, now we're about 115.
Yes.
And as you go faster, the plane wants to pitch up naturally. So you're going to have to constantly fight it or trim it, one of the two. And make sure we're pointed at Hag Lake. Keep the nose down by pushing, because it's going to try to fight you unless you retrim. There you go. As we approach 2,400, you slowly let the nose come back up to level. Looking good.
Traffic, RV 717 Juliet Romeo, 6 miles to the east, inbound 02, Twin Oaks.
All right. And our vertical speed is negative, which means we're descending. We're going to let the nose come up just a tiny bit to stop that. That's enough. What you did right there is enough. And I'm judging that because I look at the horizon, I look at the cowling, and I see, well, how many figures do I have between the far horizon and the cowling? So for me right now, it's 2 figures. What do you see?
I see about 2, I'd say so.
Yeah, so that's about level. And you'll play this game constantly when you're flying. Is how much of the Earth do I see? Okay, I want you to look to the right and find Mount Hood.
Mount Hood, see it?
Alright, so we're going to turn and go toward Mount Hood. So you say clear right?
Clear right.
Cool. Eyes right back in front of you now, always looking right in front. A tiny bit of right rudder to help that turn, that's it. What mountain is that?
That is Mount Hood?
Nope.
Nope, I am dumb.
So if you look on the left, you'll see Mount Rainier. It looks like a double mountain.
Yes.
Then Mount St. Helens, the top is cut. That's Mount Adams, and that's Mount Hood. And eventually you'll get to see the shape of them, but see how this one has 2 veins on it, and it looks more like a pyramid? That's Mount Hood. So we'll keep going until we get to Mount Hood. And see, there's another one over there. That's Mount Jefferson.
Yes.
So it's a great day because we can see all the mountains today.
Finally, no rain.
We can even see the Three Sisters down at Bend.
Downwind for runway 02, Twin Oaks. Twin Oaks traffic, Cessna 65.
There you go. Alright, so are we pointed at Mount Hood right now?
Yes, we are.
Put one eye behind that tube. There you go, now you're pointed at it. That's it. Okay, now we're going to climb up to 3,000 feet. So to do that, loosen up the friction lock, pitch the nose of the airplane up, little more pitch, little more, that's good, full throttle, push it all the way in and set the friction lock. Keep the nose up, pull back on the yoke some, that's it, that's the pitch you want. Now, if you let go of the yoke, take your hands off, what happens?
It'll go down.
It goes down.
And
So
left.
we're going to use trim to fix that. So pitch it back up.
And
Up, up, up. That's good. Hold it there. Count to 4 or 5 until it stabilizes there. Use trim to get rid of the force that you're using with your hand. And we're going to keep climbing. Every now and then, just let go and see what happens. Oops, it comes down, so you need more nose-up trim. That's it.
Traffic RV 717 Julie Romeo entering the 4502 Twin Oaks.
So the best way to fly is as relaxed as possible. But try this, son, push your shoulders back and down. Just, as relaxed as you can be sitting at home in a chair.
65 Kilo Delta, are you
Hold the yoke like this.
confirm Kilo Delta, stay in the back.
Just as light a force as possible.
Twin Oaks.
And then when the plane needs a correction,
65 Kilo Delta.
you give it a correction.
Crosswind for runway 02 Twin Oaks.
But you don't want to be like correcting constantly.
Twin Oaks traffic RV 717.
Let me show you what I mean. I have the controls?
there are controls.
My controls. All right. So you see how the nose is coming up?
Yes.
I'm just going to give it that little correction like this to give it a little push down. And we're tilted to the right, but Mount Hood, I'll show it to you. Mount Hood is to the right, so I'm just letting it fix itself. I don't have to do anything. Now there's Mount Hood in front of us, so I'll just kind of correct this. And by the way, I can do the same thing with my feet.
Twin Oaks traffic, Cessna 65 Kilo Delta is left.
Turn to the right,
Runway 02 Twin
turn to the left, turn to the right, turn to the left. You see how my hands are free to do anything. I can read a book, have a coffee, it doesn't matter, right? You want to get to the point where you're not giving it the death grip, doing this kind of thing. But you have the controls,
I have the controls.
and I want you to just steer with your feet. Take your hand off. Good. So, if the plane rolls to the right a little bit, just give it some left rudder and hold it there. A little more left rudder, just a little bit. That's it. You might have to apply constant pressure with your foot, but that's a lot easier than constant pressure with your hand. Okay, we're coming up to 4,000 feet. We're going to level off by pushing on the yoke slightly. Let's get back to level. Bring the nose down to level. Remember, it's about 2 fingers up here.
Got it.
A little more down. We're going to let the plane speed up to about 105. Keep the nose down a little more.
Traffic 7 Victor Alpha left downwind 02 Twin Oaks.
That's good. And then trim.
Twin Oaks traffic, Cessna 65 Kilo Delta is left base for runway 02 Twin Oaks.
Looking good. And that game is called pitch, power, trim. So we're going to pitch.
Okay.
Let the plane speed up. We're going to pull the power out. Pull the power out back to about 2,500 RPM. Hold the nose like this. You're going to have to push quite a bit. Pull the power out. Boom. Yep.
All the way?
Until you get to about 2,500 because you're at 2,700 right now. Pitch, power, trim.
65 Kilo Delta.
I'll turn on the fucking lock.
Yeah, good. About 2,500 or so.
About.
Looks good. Tighten the friction lock. And then trim is necessary. The purpose of trim is to get rid of control forces.
Twin Oaks traffic RV 717 Julie Romeo clear 02 taxi Golfinger Twin Oaks.
All right, see Mount Jefferson?
I do.
All right. This time you don't have to lift the wing because we're only turning to Mount Jefferson and you don't need to look under your wing for that. But we're going to look to the right. We're only making a small turn. We'll turn to the right.
Twin Oaks traffic 7 Victor Alpha left base 02 number 2 Twin Oaks.
Looking good. Okay, now we're going to start a descent, and we're going to go back to Twin Oaks. If you look out to your left, At about your 10 or 11 o'clock, you'll see Twin Oaks, and what you'll notice are the hangars, maybe.
Twin Oaks traffic, 7 big drop.
Yes, I see Twin Oaks.
You got them in sight?
I do.
Now do you see the runway as well?
Not yet. I guess I do see it now.
Okay, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a descending right-hand turn
Okay.
until we get over there, and then we'll be on the left downwind face and a final turn to come into land.
So we're going in a spiral.
That's right.
Okay.
So to do that, remember when we were going toward the lake, you just push the nose down.
Yeah.
But we were only descending a couple hundred feet. Here, we got to take the power out so we can get down. So what we'll do is first, before making a big power reduction, we first pull out the carbides.
All the way?
All the way. Yep. So that's all the way out. Carb temperature starts to go up. I don't know if you noticed that, but when the carbide was turned off, which means pushed in, the carb temperature is low. It's near freezing. Pull it out, it'll warm up the carb. It prevents carburetor ice from building up. Good. Loosen up the throttle friction lock. And we're going to go to idle. Just pull it all the way out until it stops. And it'll get very quiet in here. And we want to hold approximately this pitch. There you go. Yep. Maybe a little bit lower on the nose. That's it. And now we're going to play a little game that demonstrates how pitch, the nose up or the nose down, controls airspeed.
Yes.
Alright, so see the pitch we're at right now?
Yeah.
Hold this pitch with just hang on to the yoke.
02, taxi 02.
And we're doing about 75. Okay, now we're going to pitch down like this. We're going to hold that. We're going to let it stay here for a couple seconds. Now what's our airspeed?
We are about at 90.
At about what?
90.
90, yeah. So now if we want to fly at 75, we'll pitch to that known position right there, and we'll hold it right there. And if you wait long enough, you'll be at 75. Pitch controls airspeed. This is not for airspeed. This makes you climb or descend. Airspeed is pitch. If we want to slow down even more, pitch up by pulling back on the yoke. Go ahead, pull back on the yoke. Right here. And we're going to hold that pitch. And our airspeed bleeds down lower and lower and lower. Hold it, pull, pull. Hold that pitch. And we approach a stall speed, and you'll hear a horn come on saying, "Hey bud, you're approaching stall."
23 north.
Pitch for level.
Southeast bound.
No?
Yep, push to pitch for level. Hold the level pitch. And in 20 or 30 seconds, you'll be at 75.
75.
Yeah, that's 65 right
That's
there. Yeah. Right down there for level. It's very sensitive. At 75 will be here if you just give it time. Okay, let's start a turn to the right. Look right. Lift the wing. Clear right.
Clear, right?
Turn right.
Turn right.
With a little bit of right rudder. Twin Oaks, 19333 is up at Bald Peak. 2,500, going to set up left traffic runway 2, Twin Oaks. Keep turning a little bit more bank.
Middle 8 Bravo Charlie at the hangars, taxi to fuel, Twin Oaks.
Looking good. Always looking in front.
Yes.
Twin Oaks traffic, RV 717 Julie Romeo, left crosswind 02, Twin Oaks.
You never hit anything that's right there, but if there's a bird or a balloon or another airplane, the ones that give you trouble are the ones right in front of you.
Victor Alpha departing 02 left.
Tell me what?
Yeah, we're going to go and point at Mount Rainier, the one on the left. Cool. What's our altitude?
Our altitude is at, it is, the Nightingale is below 1,000. It is about at 250, I want to say.
Altitude.
I'm looking at the wrong thing. Altitude is at 1,900.
Good. Keep going Mount Rainier. It's the sort of double mountain on the left. And we're going down to 1,200 feet. So that's when the big knob gets all the way around here. Looking good. So when we're at about 1,300, we're going to slowly start to add some power in until we get it up to about 2,500 RPM.
Yes.
Traffic, 7 Victor Alpha, left crosswind, 02, one up.
We are at 2,400. Okay.
We're getting down to 2,300 and then we'll add some power.
Romeo left base, 02, twin out.
Power?
Yep. Just slowly start adding it in. Let's take it about 2,400 or so RPM.
Victor Alpha, left downwind, 02, twin out.
Yep, keep pushing it in.
Traffic RV 717 Julie Romeo, final 02.
Got a bunch to go. You're at 1,400, you need to get to 2,400. Keep adding it. That's good, and you can push the carb heat in now. You can set the friction lock nice and tight. Cool. Alright, we've been moving to the right a little bit, so I want to move left. So we'll turn left. You may have lost sight of the airport, but it's over there. You can see the green hangers with the white roofs.
Yes, you can see it.
Good. And we'll keep turning to the left a little bit here.
Twin Oaks traffic, RV 717 Juliet Romeo, clear 02, taxi golfing, Twin Oaks. Twin Oaks traffic, 7 Victor Alpha, left base, 02, Twin Oaks.
So the last control, the one we didn't talk too much about, is the rudder. And you see this little ball right here?
Yes.
You see how it's between the two black lines? We call that the doghouse. You want to keep the ball inside the doghouse.
Yes.
So if the ball moves right, you got to step on it with your right foot and it moves the ball left.
Got it.
So for example, if I step on the left rudder, see how the ball moves to the right? So you have to push on the right rudder and it moves the ball back to the center. So this will be a lifelong journey of trying to keep that damn ball in the center. You're always doing that in small planes like this. So you step on the ball to the right, right rudder. Ball moves left, left rudder. Alright, I'm going to announce where we are. We're about 1.5 miles to the west. We're going to get set up for left traffic. And what that means is we're going to go this way. We're going to make a 180-degree turn and go the opposite way, just like we had the departure with the runway on your left.
Tell me when.
Front of traffic, Cessna 19333. About 1.5 miles to the west, going to set up 45 left downwind runway 2, Twin Oaks. And we're climbing, so let's keep our nose down. You might need to change the trim.
49er 04 Bravo, 2 mile 45, for the left downwind runway 02, full stop, Twin Oaks.
Alright, we're a little too high. We got to get down to 1200, so let's keep the nose down, like that. There we go. And I want you to turn to the left here. There's a plane in front of us. We're going to come in behind him. He's right over the mountains now.
Yes, I see him.
Traffic 7
Keep that
Victor
nose
Alpha,
down.
clear 02, taxi to parking, Twin Oaks.
That nose down. Trim to help.
Twin Oaks traffic, Cessna 49er 04 Bravo, left downwind runway 02, full stop, Twin Oaks.
Alright, down there's all those greenhouses with the silver roofs.
Yes.
Turn toward those. And as you pick up Mount Hood, keep turning past Mount Hood. Keep that nose down by pushing. There
Yes.
you go. Center traffic, Cessna 19333 is on a 45 left downwind runway 2, Twin Oaks. There's Mount Hood, so we'll keep turning. Basically, keep turning until you pick up the airport.
Okay, airport. The left.
Yep, keep turning, point right at it.
Pointing right at it. Almost. Pointing right at the airport.
Excellent. Alright, and then we're going to do a 45-degree turn to the right so that you are parallel to the runway. Are you ready for that? Look right, clear right, turn right. When you do that, say clear right.
Clear right.
Good.
Turn right.
Now, if you look on that far ridge line over there,
Yes.
you see two clumps of trees just to the right of us?
Uh-huh.
Point the nose right at those. Pitch this thing lined up pointing at those two clumps of trees.
2.45, runway 32, Milano.
And if you look out, we're parallel to the runway now.
Yes.
All right. We're going to do our before landing checklist. I'll read it. You ready?
Yes.
Fuel selector on both.
It is on both. It's up.
Mixture rich. Push it all the way in.
Good.
Carb heat. Turn it on. Good. Seatbelts on.
On.
All right. Pull this power way back.
Turn your final runway,
then?
full stop.
All the way back to idle. Very good. All right. So now we're going to put in some flaps. I want you to hold this and give me a 3 count.
3 seconds?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Great. If you look out, you'll see the flaps have come down just a little bit.
They've come down.
All right. Now remember our little experiment with pitch being airspeed?
Yes.
All right, so we want to pitch down slightly and hold this pitch because that'll keep us safe in airspeed. And we're going to turn left base. Look left, clear left, turn left. Twin Oaks 19333, left base, runway 2, Twin Oaks. Okay, some more flaps. Give me another 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Great, wings level here. Going to add a little bit of power. That's got the runway in sight.
I do not.
Keep your nose down. That's it. Look over there, you'll see the runway.
I see the runway.
Cool. Now don't turn yet, but we're going to turn and line up with the runway. You're going to do a look left, clear left, turn left now. Clear left.
Clear left, turn left.
Got to keep that nose down.
Yes.
There we go. Twin Oaks 19333, final, runway 2, Twin Oaks. All right, looking good. So now our objective is get on that extended center line. Imagine those white lines coming all the way out here. And you might have to move it around quite a bit to sort of deal with the winds and turbulence and everything.
Yes, and the motion control is concerned that we have idle.
Yeah. And they get really mushy. Let me take the controls for a second.
Your controls?
Like, at some point, you can move the controls and like almost nothing happens. You would
Yes.
never do this when you're cruising. People in the plane would get sick. But here, nothing happens, right? Okay, you have the controls?
I have the controls.
You got controls. Try to keep us on the center line as much as you can. Keeping the nose down so you can see.
Nose down?
Yep. We're just to the right of center line, so we're going to very gently move back to the center line. Now I'm going to get on the controls with you, and we're going to do this landing.
Yes.
Okay? Alright, so we're maintaining pitch, and I'm reducing airspeed. We're going to keep this pitch, in fact, drop the nose slightly as I pull the power to idle. As we get down close, I pitch up slightly, and then we start pulling more and more and more and more and more as we get down low. And then we slowly let the nose come down. Now it's all about our feet. We stay on the center line with our feet. A little bit of right rudder to stay on that center line. Right rudder for the center line. Don't be afraid to overdo it. You can't hurt it. Good. Now I'm going to pull it to idle as we turn off the runway. Now full right rudder all the way. Cool. That's it. 19333 is clear the runway, Twin Oaks. Now I'm going to park it.
You?
Yep. I have controls.
You have controls.
And because I'm lazy, you do the after landing checklist.
After landing first. Before start. Off. After landing, flaps up.
Good. Put your flaps up.
Great. Second is carb heat off. It's off. Make sure half inch in for lean.
Alright, that's good. Athlean for taxi.
Shutdown, avionics master off.
Yep.
Okay.
Throttle 1,000 RPM. Less than. Make sure idle pedal. Magneto's off.
Magneto's just the switch. Yep. When you turn them off, take it and put it up here. Good. That's it.
Great. Now time downs and pulse line inspection.
Yeah. So we'll do all that, and we'll record the times, and we'll get you a logbook, and that is it. So if you would stay on the brakes for a second. When I tell you, let go of the brakes, and we'll back the plane up. Okay, let go of the brakes.
Let go.
And hold the brakes.
Holding brakes.
Okay, chocks are in, I think, on your side, so
They are.
we can let go of the brakes.
Let go of the brakes.
Yep. And now that is it. Let's finish up. You can open your door and unbuckle and do all that stuff. How was it?
Hey, fun.
You passed?
Not by a long shot.
All right. So we'll try to make the plane look as pretty as you can make a 60-year-old plane look. Take your seatbelt here and yeah, undo that part of it, the shoulder harness part. Shoulder harness just goes back. This one comes up to the front here. And let's pull these out, get them out of the way. And then it comes around the front and buckles in.
Great.
So it makes this little Zorro shape here.
Okay.
Yep, that's good. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, let's put our headsets away.
This goes where?
In the seat back. Seat back pocket of some sort.
In the back of the seat, let's say.
Yeah. Alright, now we're going to get our numbers. So grab that pen that you were using earlier. And let's see. We'll do the Hobbs and the tack in. That's what comes next.
Yes. Also forgot about that place. Gate. Tack in.
Yep. So let's do the Hobbs first. You can read it here.
74911.
Mm-hmm.
74911.1.
Yep. So we did 0.9 hours. You can subtract those two.
0.9?
Yeah, that's a 2, right?
That is a 2.
Yeah, so we did 0.9. Turn on the master, the red switch. Get your tack time by pushing that button on the right.
0.
I'm
No.
gonna have to do it twice.
08? No.
Yeah. 83740.
3740.
83740.
83740. 83740.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. And there's no subtraction. You don't have to do anything with that. Master comes back off. Pen goes away. Then we do our post-flight inspection.
Which is pretty much the same as a pre-flight?
It's not so much. What you're looking to make sure is you didn't hit anything.
Yeah.
You didn't break anything. And then we'll stick the
The key,
keys. Yeah. That is it. Couple things I do. Let's say turn that right up and you have your engine up that high. And then generally expected you would probably notice if you hit a burn like that in the last time. We'll stick with this. And then if you would grab that disc book, the book? Yeah, you guys up
I learned that I learned to be first not a first on it. Definitely.